She said 3,000 is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need about the done thing. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for immediate release of this minister in the temple of God.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank.
POS operator. She said 3,000 is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the done thing. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for immediate release of this minister in the temple of God.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank.
POS operator. She said 3,000 is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the done thing. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for immediate release of this minister in the temple of God.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank.
POS operator. She said 3,000 is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the done thing. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for immediate release of this minister in the temple of God.
Give us access to our
Good morning and welcome to Open Conversation on Atlantic Television Network. Open Conversation is the network's flagship political platform through which trending political news, events and stories are discussed with stakeholders. Through these conversations, ATN uses political talks about specific issues, party system and actor to explore hope and engender positive impacts to the society. Today on Open Conversation, we look at Rivers crisis. Assembly begins impeachment proceedings against Fubara. And on Rivers State, APC rejects Assembly's impeachment move. And then on to politics, ADC sets up panel to review constitution. Ahead of 2027, ADC faction denies courting Atiku, Obi, Jonathan. Democracy not under threat. APC dismisses Atiku's claim. We are open for sponsorship of the program, advert placements, news, events, coverage, and commercials. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. On Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network. You can also watch us on Avo TV, Niger TV, and Efastech TV platform. You can connect with us on our ATN socials by subscribing, like and share Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, and on X, Atlantic TV Net. We'll go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll delve right into the show. Do not go away. Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. Joining me on Open Conversation this morning is High Chief Jackson Lekojo. High Chief Jackson Lekojo is a regular on Open Conversation. He's a security expert and also a public affairs analyst. Good morning, High Chief Jackson, and welcome.
Thank you. Happy New Year once again.
I wish you the same.
And to our viewers at home, a fruitful New Year.
Of course. And then on to the story. River State House of Assembly has formally commenced impeachment proceedings against Governor Similaye Fubara, citing an extensive list of alleged impeachable offenses amounting to gross misconduct under Section 188 of the 1999 Constitution as amended. 26 lawmakers signed the notice of allegations, which was read on the floor of the House during plenary, presided over by Speaker Martins Amehule, marking the second impeachment attempt against the governor since 2025. According to the lawmakers, Fubara is accused of extra-budgetary and unconstitutional spending of public funds, withholding statutory allocations meant for the River State House of Assembly and the Assembly Service Commission, and refusing to comply with constitutional provisions guaranteeing the financial autonomy of the legislature and judiciary. He was also accused of disobeying a Supreme Court directive on legislative autonomy, an act the Assembly described as contempt for the rule of law. Other impeachable offenses listed include the demolition of the River State House of Assembly complex, allegedly to frustrate legislative activities, appointment of persons into government offices without constitutionally required screening and confirmation by the Assembly, seizure of salaries and allowances due to the legitimate House of Assembly, including that of Clerk Emeka Amadi, and deliberate obstruction of the Assembly from carrying out its constitutional duties. Lawmakers further alleged that the governor frustrated the operations of constitutionally established commissions and engaged in actions capable of undermining governance in the state. The Assembly also accused Fubara of attacking constitutional order through what it termed reckless disregard for due process, destruction of government institutions out of fear of impeachment, and deliberate attempts to weaken the legislature. Speaker Amehule confirmed that the notice of allegations would be served on the governor within 7 days in line with constitutional provisions as political tension once again escalates in River State. High Chief Jackson Lekojo, what do you make of this development?
I'm not happy. This is happening again in River State. Because River State presently is my abode, and I cannot tell when I want to change, maybe going back to my home state. So, but even if I depart from River State today, permanently I still have some things, and I have friends here around the associates and others. That is to say, I want a peaceful River State all the time. And when the democratic system that governing the state is not democratic enough, that will not bring about peace, peaceful coexistence, and others, I will not be very happy. So I'm not happy seeing this happening again. But at the same time, what do we do in a situation like this? Whatever that will happen will definitely happen. How do we manage the situation? So to me, I don't think it's late for this issue to be managed. Yes, no matter what, I've been saying it. the governor, the speaker, and the members of House of Representatives, House of Assembly, and even the former governor, do not necessarily have to be in peace when they talk of personal relationship. I'm not saying they should be against each other, but when it gets to personal relationship, they will not be the best of friends. But when it has to do with issue of governance, there is a laid-down procedures, there is a laid-down rule that nobody could flout. There is division, three arms of government: the legislative, the executive, legislative, and the judiciary. Without the legislative arms, there is nothing we call democracy at all. Because when we are saying government of the people, it simply means, it's simply referring to the legislative arms. Because all these people at the legislative arm of government, they are representing people of different local government, state constituency, and others. So the democracy is built around them, and they have the oversight function over the executive. Definitely, there is a constitutional provision. You can't say you can't present budget to your cabinet as a governor. You must present this budget to the legislative arms. The legislative arms will peruse it, they will study very critically and holistically. They may add to it for reasons that will be informed. They will inform the governor. They might reduce from it. At the end of the day, when they present it, is when the governor now sign it, it now becomes the budget, the document, the financial document of the state. And the law, the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, do not permit the governor to spend more than 6 months before they sign this appropriation, this into budget.
Yes.
But in a situation whereby, in a financial year, because of disagreement, no matter the disagreement, they must find a place, a center place to meet for the executive to present their document to the legislative arms, and for the legislative arms to study it and send it back. But in a situation where, because there is no personal relationship, is now affecting the governance of the state, I don't think we can call that one a democracy or democratic rule. So to me, you blame some at the corridor of the legislative arms, you blame some at the corridor of the executive. The executive, particularly the governor have not been able to handle the legislative arms very well. And the legislative arm, for the reason best known to them, they have not been able to work well with the governor. And at the center stage is this man we all know as the former governor of Rivers State, who is now the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory. That is the person that would have been seen, and people would have been seen as the father figure in the state. But what is the relationship now with the governor? They are not in good relationship, because that's the person that I know that he would have called the legislative arms, the executive, the governor, and bring them together to work together harmoniously. But the relationship between the governor and this particular figure is not in the best. So to me, what is happening now, it has started. Nobody knows how it will end. But I've been advising the governor should learn how to work no matter what, how to work with the legislative arms, because there is no governor in the world that can operate without the legislative arms. That is as simple as ABC. And when it comes to financial activities, without the appropriation, without the legislative arms, the governor cannot spend money. He can do, according to constitutional provision, I'm not legal luminary, but I know that they say by 6 months before the issue of budget or no budget.
Already, when you listened to Martins Amehuli during the plenary yesterday, he talked about extrajudicial spending, not even spending in 2026, extrajudicial spending that happened in 2025. He talked about awarding of contracts that are not in the budget as well, right? And then the one that broke the camel's back, the Christmas bonuses that were not allocated in the budget. The assembly accused the governor of spending money unapproved, of taking money unapproved from the consolidated revenue fund.
That is it. That is what I'm saying too. I don't see a way a governor can work well. I don't see a way a governor can succeed without working with the legislative arms. I doubt if it is possible anywhere in the world. We are not in the military rule that the head of state can just wake up, or the military administrator can just wake up early in the morning and say, this is what I want to do today. In democracy, it is not possible. So to me, I've been saying it time without numbers, that the speaker does not need the governor to come and take lunch or dinner in his house. The governor do not need to invite the speaker to come and take lunch in his house or dinner. But when it comes to issue of governance, they must work together.
All right.
At this stage now, these people have raised an allegation now. Thank God it was not what people like Ladoja faced in Oyo State those days. That legislature just woke up one morning, they went under a mango tree and they moved impeachment motion against the governor and they impeached the governor. So at the end of the day, it was reversed, but the tenure was already over before court eventually. Thank God these people do not do this. I want to believe that it's still controllable. I want to believe that it's still amendable. I want to believe that the problem can still be resolved because these people have acted. I wouldn't blame them the way they have acted. They have good reasons. They have good points. So, but to me, it is not too late now. If somebody is telling you the area you have gone wrong, and the person did not punish you immediately, but is telling you these are the area where you have gone wrong, I think that person is giving you room.
All right.
For you to amend your ways. To me, after they serve the governor, I think they will give him little time.
The governor have to respond.
They have to respond. At the end of it, if he responds very well, and during that period, to me, all that groundwork can even be going.
All right.
That before these people converge again, they must admit and kind of ameliorate the whole thing. So to me, it's not bad yet.
All right.
It is in the hand of the governor now to really do some things. He can come on the ground, he can consult with some people, they call these people, he explains some things to them.
Okay.
It can be resolved
underneath. I'm actually interested to know how this will happen, because that will be like the third, that will now be the fourth agreement, because I mean, there had been allegations that there was an agreement before he was made governor. The governor reneged on that agreement, and which now led to the first impeachment attempt, right? No, which now led to rumors of impeachment that led to the bombing of Rivers State House of Assembly. And after all of that, there was a peace pact. I think it was 8 points that the governor reneged and came back and said that the red pen is in his hands. So he's still in charge. Now, after the peace pact agreement failed, Rivers State entered another crisis, and then we now entered legal litigations here and there, court judgments and counter court judgments, and all of that still led to Supreme Court judgment. Recall, Supreme Court indicted the governor and dissolved the local government election and said that there was no governance in Rivers State. Do not forget that. Which now, yes. and even with the Supreme Court judgment, the governor was still on that path, and the Rivers State House of Assembly started impeachment proceedings now. And that led to the president intervening with extreme political solution, with extreme controversial legal solution that can be seen to be political, which is the emergency rule. That was very extreme. And that could not stop. And before the emergency rule was lifted, another agreement was reached, which is now, the second one under the president. It was reached. And that agreement now, they are alleging that that agreement has been reneged by the governor, leading to this impeachment. So when you look at it now, the president has intervened twice. No, 3 times. 3 times. The first was the peace pact. The second was the emergency rule. And the third was the agreement before the lifting of the emergency rule. And you have extreme measures being employed. You have court judgments, legal solution as well. So when you say this is going to work, you're looking at trust deficits between the assembly and the governor. You're looking at a whole lot of things. How do you see the president intervening again without undermining the powers, the independent powers of the assembly?
Yes, you have a legal luminary in the house.
Yes, give me your political angle, because you're looking at lobbying now to calm the situation.
Yeah, I don't want to appeal to both parties, the executive headed by the governor and the speaker, you understand, and the other members of House of Assembly. This agreement we are talking about, is the agreement between them, or this agreement on behalf of the people of Rivers State? So if this agreement is a political agreement between governor and them, that is their business. That's not supposed to affect governance.
All right.
Yes, if they want to agree, I think the people of Rivers State should be carried along in this agreement. The Yorubas of this world will say, you don't go to bab somebody's head.
Behind his back.
Behind his back. So if this agreement is for good governance, is for peaceful coexistence of all and sundry in Rivers State, I think the people they are signing this agreement for, I think we should be aware. I'm one of them.
All right.
I think we should be aware. If we are not aware of this agreement, let nobody mention about this agreement. Did they sign this agreement before?
Then if you said let nobody...
Before a public notary or before any court of law?
If you go by that, then the House of Assembly, one would say, have the backing of the Supreme Court judgment to impeach the governor. Because Supreme Court had indicted the governor.
They don't have the backing of the Supreme Court. They can only They can only quote
Supreme Court said Supreme Court said there was no government in Rivers State.
But that is pre this or constitutional state of emergency.
Anyway, now that you have mentioned the constitution, let us bring in
Barrister. So Barrister is here to do justice, so I can learn from the learned friend.
Now joining me on Open Conversation this morning to give a lot of weight to this conversation this morning is Asim Adams, Esquire. Asim Adams is a legal practitioner. He's a public affairs analyst. He's also a regular on Open Conversations, and he's also the convener of Lawyers Without Borders. Good morning, Barrister Sims.
Yeah, good morning, Lorenza. And my High Chief, good morning to you.
Thank you, sir.
Happy New Year to you. We are not seeing this year.
Yes, sir.
But I saw what you did for our platform.
Thank you,
God
sir.
bless you more.
Amen.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you.
So, Asim, what do you make of these developments? I recall that you were my first guest this year, January 1st, and you spoke extensively on Rivers State crisis, and you prophesied, let me say a political prophecy of what is happening today. You mentioned it on the 1st of January. I'm interested to know your take on this development.
You see, Baron Stanley Montesquieu propounded the law of separation of powers. Lord Baron Stanley Montesquieu did that on purpose executive, judicature, legislature. The legislature cannot do the functions of the executive. The executive cannot do the functions of the legislature. Also, executive cannot do the functions of the judicature. If you allow executive to do the function of legislation and judicature, he said that we are drifting towards anarchy and anomie. That is what is happening in Rivers State today. The reason why you have these cataclysmic results and consequences is because of the fact that, in my own opinion, that a particular arm of government is untwisting the other one, whether you like it or not. Whether it is the legislature that is untwisting or the executive untwisting, somebody is untwisting somewhere. Now, let me put it succinctly. If I want to periscope Rivers State crisis, yes, the House of Assembly has the intrinsic right under our constitution to impeach a governor. It is their duty. Nobody can take it away from them. Even the courts have said so. So when people begin to say you can't, why do you want to impeach? Now, to put it succinctly, the House of Assembly, the Constitution also gives the House of Assembly that imprimatur authority to use his discretion to speak on what constitutes gross misconduct. So it is not you sitting down in your street corners drinking beer and you say, oh, this, why would they impeach him based on this? What are you talking about? Nigeria practices constitutional democracy. Same the members of the House of Assembly swore oath to uphold this constitution I have here. So when people say the council, they gave, that is the 10 or 12, whatever the reasons they want to impeach, that is neither here nor there. I laugh at them. I will give you an example. People have time to do that. Because you have to educate them.
Go ahead, you have your time.
And there's something I always feel very sad. People, twist fast because of certain things. When the legislature is trying to, monitor and oversight the executive, you begin to, poo-poo them and say they are wicked, they are enemies of the state. But the Constitution says they can oversight the executive. So what is the business? That is why you see this, it has polarized. Now let me give you this, and I'll shock you. That is section 188 sub 11. In this section, this is a proviso. In this section, what constitutes gross misconduct means a grave violation or breach of the provision of this constitution, or a misconduct of such nature as amount in the opinion in the House of Assembly to gross misconduct.
So what Assembly calls gross misconduct
I'm not the one.
is what the Constitution says is gross misconduct.
It is here. I didn't write the Constitution. So these are the things when lawyers begin to, I want to say this. You see, some of us, Nigerians are becoming, we are making this state in one state, or Nigeria in one state, not the politicians. Because if you love a man, he will do no wrong. People see Sifu Bara, let me not even call his name, so I don't personalize. People see the executive governor of Rivers State as beyond board. Whatever he does, since there's a fight between himself and Wike, he is right, Wike is wrong. Anybody supporting Wike is wrong. Anybody supporting Subara, you understand? Sentiments are overriding our sense of judgment. That is why you have this happening here. Mind you, politicians read the mood of the people. If Wike and Subara do not have supporters, there will be no crisis. But when I wake up in the morning, I come out with my convoy post hailing me, calling me hero for dismembering the Constitution. I will think it's like that. Now let me put it succinctly. People Nigerians forget. The House of Assembly has been saying since 2024, Mr. Governor, do not dip your hand in the consolidated account. Just like that. It's not just this year or last year. People forget. They should go back and read, go back to your history. The House of Assembly has been saying Even when the crisis was on for the state of emergency, they have been saying, Mr. Governor, don't dip your in the consolidated account and begin to do expenditures that are whatever are not authorized. The man keep doing it. He used the excuse of there's confusion in the house. I don't know who to go and meet for any premature authority or signature. Because people, I don't recognize you people. I recognize only this three. So he begins to dip his hand into the till of the state and begin to distribute. He continued from that 2024, 2025 till now. You understand the point now? And the House of Assembly said this, don't do this. He has continued doing it. Nobody said anything about it. Now let me tell you why it is illegal. For the actions that the executive have committed by even giving the 100,000 naira. If you don't give the 100,000, it can come to and declare 500 million or billion has been spent on salary or million on the help to help people. He can even wake up one morning and say, all traditional rulers in River State, I'm giving you a car worth 600 million per one. He begins to spend it without accountability. Now, the government supporters have been hiding under this couch and cloak, diabolic, puerile, shibboleth, scurrilous, mendacious, buoyant and platform to say that because the budget has not been presented, that means that 6 months you can operate and deepen. Let me shock you very quickly right now. And it's one of the reasons they said they are impeaching him. Section 120, 121, 122, 123. You have to go and read it. I will not read that for you, but I will read one for you. Look at it. Powers and control over public funds. That is the heading. Powers and this is where it's bringing problem. Money. This is where it's bringing problem. Because the executive will wake up in the morning and empower his people with 2 billion. Those who were paying solidarity visits, envelopes are given to them. Why do you think this crisis is not ending? If you visit the government, you are going to get something home. Now look at it quickly because of time. He says that look at section 120, powers and control over public funds. On revenue, that is on consolidated revenue that the government has been keeping his hand. And he has been saying that because listen, no money shall be withdrawn for the consolidated revenue fund of the state, except to meet expenditure that is charged upon the fund by this constitution. So the government can even put his hand into the consolidated revenue fund to give gifts to dash people because it is not contained in the constitution. But he can increase the salary of the workers because wages and whatever is envisaged in the constitution. So the 100,000 he gave is an illegality. So look, let me read further. Or where the issue of those monies has been authorized by an appropriate law.
So there has to be appropriation
law
for that spending to be done.
Because the state does not run in vacuum. The law, a House of Assembly of River State is House of Assembly. The laws and rules remain since 1999. Members will go and come, but the rules of the House and the laws of that House remain until you abrogate the law or you maybe amend the law. So there must be a law on appropriation in the past government, the weekends and whatever, passed by the House of Assembly. So until that law is amended, the government cannot go outside of it. So he says, except this by an appropriation law. Supplementary appropriation law or law passed in pursuance of section 121 of the 1999 Constitution. What is section 121 talking about? Is there. It's here.
Okay.
So this is where the problem is happening. Fraud is taking place. And that is why these people are crying. Because they are in government. Most of us are not in government. But for those of us who are participating in government, have been in government in Nigeria here, I can tell you when a politician wants to steal money. He goes under the cover of constitution, under this appropriation, and begin to steal. Governors do it. Let me be open. Governors have been doing it. But why is it that River State is so peculiar? Because it has been happening for years now. And the assembly, because they are hated by the people, they have been saying this is the state money. Don't do this. People say, let him do, steal the thing. Come on, go and break the house and steal and embezzle. and do whatever you want to do. Forget the bad law. Which law? Because the man is loved. So we are practicing a Confucianist, and cacophonous democracy. At the end of the day, the Nigerian people will be suffering for it. Somebody made an allusion, even unfortunately, to tell you how bad a principle is. If a nebulous principle occurs, let me tell you what happened. When they asked the permanent secretary of Civil Brothers government said they did this, they gave that 100,000 naira to because it's a culture that has been there for 3 years. That wicked government were giving out, which is true. That they were giving gifts or whatever the case may be. Now it's an illegality. Because we did not shoot it down as at that time. That is why the person that came now can go there and do the same or whatever. If civil that leaves government today, the next governor coming in will continue with that culture. Even though it's an illegality, but supported by the people. Then the government can even increase and say he's giving it a man 500,000 naira. You'll be jubilating and endorsing it. Because he has breached the law. So we must speak beginning from now. So these are the issues we need to look at. So the people are saying it is not true. Please, you can't do this. That is what I found out. Now, let me give information again to Nigerians. Members of the House of Assembly, I don't know if you have your lawyers with you. You talk to them. What I'm saying floating on the social media space, with due respect, is not a notice of impeachment. It is particulars of impeachment. That's what I'm saying.
All right. What is the difference?
A notice of impeachment is like a notice. When you say notice, I give you notice. Then I attach the particulars of the offense to that notice. Right. This is the reason why we are giving this notice based on section 181 sub 1 or you understand? Particulars. They listed about 12. There should be a covering letter for that. I don't know if they have that. That covering letter is the notice of impeachment. What I've seen on social media, although the other one I tried to see if I can, embolden it, I found out that the particulars of the offense.
I sent you some
I couldn't read that one.
Okay.
I just said that's what I've seen so far. It's not a notice. Except
there was a covering letter.
Good. If there's a covering letter, then it forms a notice. Because if it does not form a notice, and you don't put particulars of offense, the governor and his lawyers can challenge it that the procedures were not followed. I'm just giving an information to them.
All right.
The second one, Nigerians should understand something. Impeachment is not automatic. Impeachment is not because they are giving notice does not mean the governor is giving tomorrow. Like my own chief said, my respected chief, said here that you have time now to intervene. Because when the notice is served within 7 days, he has to serve, then you have another 14 days. You have at least a month or thereabout. Nigerians will give kudos to the House of Assembly of Rivers State for not doing kangaroo impeachment.
Yes.
Ayo Fayose was impeached by 7 people. George Adariye 9.
Yes.
You understand? In Bayelsa, the same. So, this House of Assembly members should even be ululated. Not condemned or criminalized. Because they went to the normal way.
Yes.
Forget, they might be angry. But it is their right to do what they have done. You cannot deny, most of you people criticizing them today, I rebuke you people. Because if you are in a place where you work and your salaries have been seized, you will become very angry. The government has not denied that he's owing them this. He has refused to do whatever. In spite of that, they bear everything and take care of themselves. You understand? To now insult them, you bring 100,000 to go to them. What kind of a Bolshevik executive do we have? An autocratic Gorgon Medusa executive that we have in Rivers State. Do you think we run are you an emperor? Are you above the Nigerian Constitution, as the case may be? Those of you who are ululating and egging him on, I say I rebuke all of you. You cannot stand for truth, and truth will evade you. Let me tell you specifically. Illegality anywhere is illegality somewhere. And I've seen a situation where you call this man and call this person, elders will come together. Mr. Governor, I clap my hands for my chief here. He made some, when I listened to him, I said, this is the kind of Nigerians that we need here. He has said the executive has a blame. these other people has their own blame. That is how it should be. If you want this matter to be solved, you don't say because of this man is there, because once you hear his wicked, you say that is you understand? It's wrong. This mobocracy, this is mobocracy, not democracy in Rivers State, mobocracy. And I stand to condemn it. Now let me tell you something. The governor has, reneged on agreements 3-4 times. If I'm a businessman, you owe me money, and I lend you money, you didn't pay the first time. I lend you again, you didn't pay. Will I give you the third time? I run away from you. The same thing with political capital. Agreement in politics is allowed. It might not be, provable in court, but politically it is allowed. Local. That is what Tinubu said. He had an agreement with Buhari and the rest of them that when you run, after you is going to be. That's like, it is my turn. Tinubu said it openly. People didn't understand. There was an agreement. That was the reason why Tinubu had to speak out. When he saw that things were not going his way, he now spoke out and said, but we agreed. Sir, you let me look on. This is my turn. This is my turn. But that was what shaped Buhari into order. To the extent where Buhari was exiting against the Electoral Act and against the law, he brought out his ballot paper and showed to the whole Nigerians to say, look, I voted for Tinubu, I voted for APC. So that you people will not think that because there were speculations, some Buhari and Tinubu, they don't quarrel. Tinubu not be become president. Buhari is even against Tinubu. You understand? Because I can't say below come. Now, Buhari went up, go back to history. He brought ballot paper, he showed where he completed presidential election for APC. I said, I have voted for Tinubu. That tells you that agreement is there. So Tinubu being a man that came up as president through agreement, will tell this executive or whoever, oh please, this is the third time. I will not want you and this man to come and sign anything again because people don't respect it, whatever. Even in 1999, it was an agreement that Obasanjo came to power. Political agreement. It was not binding legally, but it was binding politically. They said, because of Abiola, so Yoruba should take this. So that was how Olufalaye Obasanjo contested the paper. So what is wrong with Nigerians? That we are not blinded by subjective, simulations and stimulations and criminality in our minds. Dark-minded people. And you say you want democracy to reign? Are you happy what's happening in Rivers State? That for about how many years now, the state has been held down. Like a child going to the world but cannot crawl, cannot fulfill himself, whatever. Rivers State, a giant among states, but now walking on spindle leg and distended, demobilized tummy. And you happy about it? You letting people to desecrate the constitution for whatever reason as case may be. I dare challenge those who are against and supporting the executive doing all these things is doing. No legislator will take that. So these are the things we are talking about.
Right.
And finally on this, a lot of people don't know that the constitution even says there's what we call ouster clause about impeachment. You cannot stop the assembly. I'll show you section 188 is still here. I read from the constitution so that you don't think maybe these are figments of my imaginations. You understand? Let me show it to you. 188 sub 10, you're going to see. He said, no proceedings of determination of the panel or at the House of Assembly or any other matter relating to such proceedings or determination shall be entertained or questioned in any court. That is your constitution. That is your constitution. He's talking about impeachment. That is your constitution. Says that all these proceedings, whatever happens, that the court cannot even question it. Then this matter came up between the Nakoju, they call it Nakoju's case. The matter came up. When equity, the equitable, soft landing, and serenading Nigerians, the Supreme Court now said, wow, that if you ask the jurisdiction of courts, it means that the House of Assembly can do whatever it likes. So the judges who handle that matter at the Supreme Court now say for the interest of Nigeria and democracy. Yes, we know that this particular section, subsection 10, has excluded our powers and jurisdiction, but we can intervene as the highest court in the land. That only if the procedures of this particular constitution were not properly followed, then the court can intervene and upturn it. Of course, what are the procedures? Emanating now from section 46 of 1, the right of the man, the governor in power, to now say his rights were breached. You didn't serve him the requisite notice, like what I said, there must be notice of impeachment and those things attached. Oh, these things were not properly done. Oh, okay, the constitution says you give me 14 days for me to respond. You served me the letter just yesterday, and the following day you impeached me. He can go to court and reverse it. That was what happened in Peter Obi's case and some other cases. He can go to court and say due process was not followed. But if the House of Assembly, because the way they are going, they are following the due process. If the House of Assembly follows the due process from subsection 1 to subsection 9 without any flaw, the court cannot intervene.
So can you explain what the due processes are? This step by step.
The time is
right,
not.
Go ahead.
The time is what I might not have because it's not good. I dominate.
Just abridge it. First of all, they said they will
they are very clear here. I want to read from my constitution so that people will understand. I'll just quickly read it.
All right.
Because so that people will understand. Those who are listening can write down and know exactly. Section 188 is the one that covers impeachment. Then you go to 104. It says removal of a governor or deputy governor. It's two of them they are removing now. Now you go to section 2, notice of allegation in writing. That notice I told you about.
Yes.
These are the allegations. These are the notice of whatever
particulars
covering letter, particulars of the offense, which they listed. Okay, these are gross misconduct you did, salary removal, etc. That is that first one. And that notice, one third of the members of the House of Assembly are the ones to support that particular notice. But I will go through. So nobody is even out of these 26.
I've signed
it. And what the constitution says is just one third. 1/3 of 26 is about I think 12 people, but they had 26. So it was even above whatever the pedestal needed.
1/3 is less than 12.
It's less than 12 at the head.
That is
I don't
26
know.
divided into 3.
How many do you have?
26 divided into 3, you have about, it's less than around 7 or 8.
Good. 1/3, that is what he's saying here, of the total member of the House. So they present to the Speaker. The Speaker will take it. Then you now take it now, stating the holder of such offense, how he did that gross misconduct. I'm just doing the point of time. Then you now go, then when you do that now, it shall cause a statement made in reply. The Speaker, we now send to the governor. The governor has to respond. Okay. Now look at it. He said within 14 days of the present of notice of the Speaker to the governor, that is, or any statement made by the holder of the office in whatever, 14 days he has
the governor has 14 days to
respond to the House. You understand the point now? A motion, after that, a motion of the House of Assembly that the allegation be investigated shall not be declared as having been passed unless it is supported by votes of no less than 2/3. Once that letter gets back, vote of 2/3 will now be needed to push it further in the ladder. Within 7 days of passing of a vote under the foregoing provision, you understand, the chief judge of the state, at the request that the Speaker must, write to the chief judge and say, Mr. Chief Judge, please do this, set up a 7-member committee. The 7-member committee, shall be in men of questionable character, integrity, and they should not be members of any public service, legislative house. So in my own opinion, that is a huge one. Unquestionable means an unblemished person.
In River State.
So in River State. So which means maybe they have to get babies from the hospital whose conscience have not been pricked and criminalized to come and form members of this panel. Because we don't have men of integrity anymore in River State. I'm saying that with due respect. So we have to go and look for, because even if you call pastors or reverend fathers to come and be part of that thing, there's going to be a problem. So what this thing is saying now is that we'll go to UPTH and go and get babies born today because their minds have not, their minds are still what we call tabla rasa. It's open, nothing has been written on it. To come and be here before we can get an objective, panel. The holder of the office, whose conduct is being investigated over the section, shall have the right to defend himself. He has the right to defend himself. Within all this period, all this we are past there. A panel. Now let me make an observation.
Go ahead.
Let me make an observation. The question I've asked this particular section 181/5. Assuming the CJ that is controlled by the government,
I wanted to ask that
the
question,
governor
actually.
refuses to respond to that request. What now happens?
So what now happens?
That's like the constitution. Did they give anything there? So there's a lacuna. So if the CJ travel to Brazil, he's drinking beer and doing samosa there and whatever, licking ice cream and lollipop while people are fighting in River State. Okay, later day your table, you never say, they come, I better time next week.
What if the possibility
The question
of
I'm
that
asking that, what did the constitution say? Does that mean that the next man in
this particular section can frustrate the process?
That is what I'm saying. So the question I'm asking now is that the constitution never said that if the man refuses to sign and says, I've seen the letter, and he can even be in Nigeria and say, I've seen the letter, the man will be looking at the letter. You knock on his door and say, please, sir, please, I'm so busy, come back tomorrow. Do you understand the point now? He look and say, please, can you bring Gary and a Google and let me drink first. Tell myself to boil eggs for me and rice. He start looking at you.
So probably they
so you now come in and say,
you have to go to court.
Maybe they carry gun and say, if you don't sign now, I will do this. You now say, sorry, sir, I will sign now. Or you now use political whatever to now get. So there's a lacuna here. So that might be the difficulties you may be having in this case. The siege of the state, who is he loyal to now? I don't know. I don't really know. Now, if you look at this panel, shall have powers and size function in accordance. Once the panel agrees, another question I'm going to ask now, which the constitution never said, then the panel don't agree. Then the panel report, when the panel report to the House of Assembly that the allegation has not been proved, no further proceedings shall be taken in respect of the matter. So if the panel is set up by the CJ can go and bring people they drink together in the Job. He will bring men who they eat crayfish and whatever in Job. Oh boy, come and save my governor. Don't let them kill governor. Don't let them remove my governor. He said, I've appointed men of integrity. But men of integrity have one cup with beef inside there drinking. Say, we cannot allow them to remove this governor, as case may be. They now say the allegations are not proven. Do you understand? Mr. Speaker, please, these allegations, they have not been proven. No. We can't remove the government. He writes to the House. Does that mean this House that are very angry, do you think they will obey that the report of the committee? Do they have the right to override that committee and say, no, the man must be found guilty? I don't know if you understand.
The Constitution says that the impeachment process dies at that point.
So we then come and force him now, and they may force him. And if they force the panel report, then the court now can say, but what the panel recommended said the man is not guilty. You understand the point now? But where the panel writes and say the governor they guilty, to turn immediately the governor is gone. So even as it is, the bulwark of this particular body rests with the CJ and the setting up of the 7-man committee and their recommendations. The 7-man committee also, the CJ might be the bride of the day. He says it was Wike that put me here. I cannot disappoint him. Do you understand the point that he will go and bring men that can do his bidding? And those men will endorse and say, Mr. Sim, you are very guilty. The governor is gone. You understand? So he has a role to play. So these are the procedural whatever for those who are willing to learn and those who want to not rabble-rousing on television, not saying things politically as you don't know. You think people are watching you, we know exactly that it's not Akamu and Akara that you go to Sikona and be leaking and giving gist around Mokuta Junction there. People be giving false information as the case may be.
All right.
You see, these are the situations, and it's sad. Please, let me just say,
all right. All right, Barrister Sim, thank you for taking your time to explain the legal implications of that. And before we move over to take APC's reaction on this impeachment move, High Chief Jackson, You want to say something?
Just to, I've kind of submitted to the legal mind. I have spoken very well. One thing is that it is not automatic that serving impeachment notice means automatic that the governor is gone. It happened sometimes ago in Nasarawa when Al-Makura was the governor. He was served impeachment notice and a 7-man committee was formed, and at the end of the day, they discovered that, okay, they submitted that we have seen no reason why the governor must be impeached, and that ended it. The governor continued in office. That is it. But in this case, we are talking about, there are a lot of other lacuna as read out from the Constitution by the legal mind here that, you see, this lacuna could bring about rascality of sort. Particularly all this thing we are doing is not far from 2027 re-election, this thing of Mr. President. In a situation whereby Mr. President is supporting this side and there is any legal lacuna, rascality could rear its ugly head, and the impeachment will be just like the Oga talk. Ladoja, people were under the mango tree in Ibadan, and the House of Assembly sat under the mango tree, and immediately they pronounced impeachment. No committee was set up, but the police occupied the government house, Agodi. Yeah, the police occupied the government house, and that was the end of Ladoja. The same thing in the Ekiti State. Ayo Fayos say the people pledged a vote of confidence today. The second day they wanted to travel overseas, they brought them down from the airplane on the tarmac. They put them inside coastal bus. They say impeach him. He was impeached in the coastal bus. Yes, sir. So those are political rascality, which I'm not seeing this time around. But my own is this. Just because I'm still praising this, applauding this House of Assembly, it could happen that same yesterday they just say, okay, he's impeached before you know what is happening. At the end of the day, they will go and meet in court. The governor is gone.
And then the matter will stay in court till the
eternity. So, to me, I still believe they have given notice to the governor. The governor can go and amend a lot of other things to see if he can resolve most of these things. Right. I think that chance is there for him to do. But unfortunately, I was quoted on radio yesterday when I said there are some persons around the governor. They are just there to mislead the governor. They are just there, just like the former governor said that 600 billion matter. I love that is attracting a lot of personnel to come to River State to become the friend of the governor. Unfortunately, a lot of people around the governor will not even advise the governor. They begin to pour insult on the members of House of Assembly to aggravate this problem. At the end of the day, it may boomerang on the governor. So the governor has chances now to see if he can amend, to see if he can, use some other persons to call these people. They can call these people belong to one political family. Even now they belong to political family of APC. This matter can be resolved and the governor amend this way.
All right. Very well. Let us see what APC has to say to this impeachment move. Rivers State chapter of the All Progressive Congress has firmly rejected the move by the State House of Assembly to impeach Governor Similaye Fubara and his deputy, describing the process as untenable and a threat to political stability in the state. The party warned that the impeachment push could destabilize an APC-led government and urged lawmakers to immediately discontinue the process. In a statement signed by the party's spokesperson, Darlington Nguju, the APC acknowledged the constitutional independence of the legislature, but insisted that resorting to impeachment at this time was unjustified. The party said it will not remain silent while what it described as lingering political disputes from the People's Democratic Party era were being imported into the APC to create internal crisis and governance disruption. The APC further argued that the impeachment threats, particularly those linked to budgetary issues, were misplaced. It recalled that during the period of emergency rule in Rivers State, a 1.485 trillion naira budget was transmitted by President Bola Tinubu to the National Assembly and duly approved in mid-2025 with validity extending to August 2026. According to the party, The governor is constitutionally permitted to operate within that budget framework and is not compelled to present a supplementary budget. Calling on members of the Rivers State House of Assembly, especially APC lawmakers, to resist external pressures, the party said it would do everything possible to prevent the destabilization of the Fubara administration. The APC warned that pushing ahead with impeachment would damage the party's image, stall development, and undermine democratic governance in Rivers State, insisting that the state must remain a democracy and not what it termed a political crisis. Barrister Sims, let me start with you on this one. What is your take on this?
The question is the pedestal on which Mr. Darlington Waju is standing on APC. Is he an APC? Is APC? Don't we have the faction of APC again?
He's a factional spokesperson.
He's a factional spokesperson, so you don't even say APC has spoken. I can take on them on that. You have the Emeka Beke faction of APC.
Yes.
You have the Okocha-led a faction of APC. And the faction of Okocha-led is the one that brought Sifubara to APC.
And the lawmakers as well.
And the faction led by Okocha, nobody should hide it, is supported by Yeso Wike. From everything we've seen. That is number one. Number two is that this was a fallacy of equivocation. Why do I say fallacy of equivocation? He admitted and asserted that yes, the legislature has the right. He said it there to do his duties of impeachment. But now went further to begin to explain, to say that consolidated account, one thing, whatever, the government has the right and cannot be forced to, present a supplementary. But are you see where the problem is coming from? And cannot be forced to now present a supplementary budget without citing any sections of the constitution to support this, whatever. The third one is this: if Darlington Waju and his APC people really know this, why don't they submit legal submission to Sim Fubara and say, please, Oga, use this particular listener to answer number 4 and give him expo. But it's coming on the page of newspaper to escalate and exacerbate, the discourse. I don't know if you understand. You see where the problem lies? Interest. So if you have this, the notice has been served. Can you withdraw the notice, for instance, served by the people using social media platform? No. You go to the governor, you are a lawyer, you know so much about the law now. So you write an advice, say Fubara, and say, in answer to number 4, please use this particular thing. You are coming to the open to and say those things. This is where the problem stands and where it lies. The fourth one is this: when I begin to hear Waju's faction of APC say APC talk, APC do this, I really don't know which authentic APC we even have in Rivers State that our party is doing that. Who is even the leader of this APC of Darlington Waju? I bet he has even gone to ADC. So I don't know. I don't really know. This is the problems we have in Rivers State. This is our compounding issues. It would be better if he made the statement as an ordinary citizen, just like myself. So if Tony Okocha comes out tomorrow and opposes Waju or whatever, is it not the same APC they are acting for? So there is confusion in APC in Rivers State. And you people they should even give credit to Yeso Wike. If not for Yeso Wike, APC would have been dead and buried in Rivers State. I bet he had the machinations to do that. If not for Yeso Wike that brought APC, even the faction of Okocha, they have become the most active. Bashiru, whatever the spokesperson for APC National, he recognizes the faction of Tony. That was why he said they should not disturb the governor. And the governor have warned them in this fashion of Okocha said this thing. Yes, Wike knows what to do. If he's properly advised as a legal person, if Tinubu justice maybe try to throw him away with the backwater, no problem. He should go to court and talk about who is the authentic APC. Because 2 primaries are going to hold the Rivers State.
Under APC.
Under APC. Except they are able to harmonize their position. Except Beke and Okocha come together and say, we are working together as one APC. Maybe they've done that. That's why Darlington is talking. Otherwise, they're going to have 2 factions. Beke would like to organize their own for supremacy. They want to, who is the most supreme, whatever. They will organize this fashion.
Beke is recognized by court judgment.
Court judgment.
Culture is recognized by the National Working
So that will be another grant. That will be a grant for them to. So, okay, see, Fubara, you got your ticket from the one that is not recognized by law. It will become too late by then. They are not even looking at all these things. They are looking at impeachment. It wants to contest. Okay, we can decide to leave APC for you, Puna. I said, okay, Mr. Tinubu, don't worry, I'm not fighting again, as case may be. I'm not doing anything. Take your decision. No problem. I know what to do. Then when these two polarized primaries now emerge, we can sponsor anybody to go to court under APC. Even the Tony Okocha himself. Even them to want can go to court and say the court should tell us who INEC should recognize. Is it not a PDP now? So even see their supporters are jubilating. They don't even know what is going to befall them between now and December. Because elections are coming up around March or thereabout. So between now and September, when the primaries must have been done,
the windows closed.
If they don't have two fashions of APC primaries, I'll be very happy. Then he can say, I have made it. But the moment they are not able to reconcile, and he do this, one person go to court, he can nullify the other this and say, this is one recognized. And
it happened in Zamfara.
In Zamfara. Yes. So let's him be very careful and be prayerful that when that time comes, he will not need a yes or wiki. In politics, tables always turn. Don't think today because you have the whatever, you can, kind of be disingenuous and saying that agreement, people are behind me. On that day, we're going to know. You are a politician. So this is just my advice for you. I don't hate the government. It's somebody I respect so much. But we have to speak from our heart and not being biased. But when you say you want to, remove a Yesewike, you have to think twice. Your supporters hate him. Those who come to you hate him. Not because they love you. Because in 2023, we knew those who love you. We knew those who fought against you. They are in your camp now. I describe them as Philistine carpet baggers. They are Philistine opportunists. But when the chiefs are done, when it comes to that nitty-gritty of nomination, delegation, and Tinubu now decide to say, no delegation, I will choose this man. And the rest will walk away and say, okay, no problem now. Let's go to another political party and use court cases to destabilize that. Let's see how it goes. It's a dicey one.
All right, very well. Hi, Chief Jackson, what do you make of this story?
Well, I don't have much to say, but I just want to correct Darlington Waju and his co-travelers in his own faction of APC. That they should not marry party administration with governance. Party administration, even at the National Secretariat of APC, National Working Committee, NEC of APC, do not have power to change the decision of Rivers State House of Assembly. The Rivers State House of Assembly may belong to APC, but the APC, the President of Nigeria, do not have power over them, over their decision, particularly according to the legal luminary here, particularly when they are doing things according to the dictate of the law. Party can only appeal to them. Party cannot compel them not to do their work. So let these people know that.
Right. Now, now that they have said that they will do everything humanly possible, I'm trying to make it make sense to me, because in this instance, both the majority of the House of Assembly members who signed that impeachment notice, they are all from the same party.
Yeah.
So they are one and the same.
Yeah.
Now, APC coming out to take sides will be more like, okay, you have children crying. You take the side of one as against the other. Now, this statement, don't you think is going to rub off wrongly on the assembly members who belong to the same APC and even make them more hardened and more determined to impeach the governor?
They say when there is conflict between morality and law, you understand, law will always prevail.
All right.
this is my daughter. You understand? That is law. It's my daughter. And morality can say, you have the right to discipline your daughter. I now slap my daughter and my daughter now collapse. Law will prevail. Law will no longer recognize
the offense committed.
No, law will no longer recognize me as the father.
As a father. Okay.
I have killed another entity. That is what we should be looking at.
All right.
So that is why I put it that even the president of Nigeria today, who is the national leader of APC, cannot instruct
the assembly.
The assembly say you must go and withdraw that. No. The highest thing he can do is to call them, call the governor. Again. Governor, these people have right to question you. Just like the National Assembly can question me. Governor, stop doing this. Please, can you forgive the governor, believing that the governor cannot do it?
All right.
That is it. But if the president want to say, I am the president, there is nothing Mr. President can do in this, these people will continue to do their work.
All right.
Gradually, before you know, the governor is gone. And immediately the governor is gone, somebody will occupy that same office the second day.
All right.
And we will still be loyal to Mr. President we are talking about. So the governor should be very careful in this.
All right, very well.
Yes.
Barrister Sims, very quickly. Now, considering that, when you look at the tone of the assembly, you can tell yesterday that they were very, very, very angry and they are determined to impeach the governor. Now, considering that agreements have been reached in the past and political solutions and legal solutions have even come into play and they all failed, do you see the possibility of another intervention by the president? Do you see a possibility of another political solution to stop this from happening?
You see, that will be foolhardy of the president, with due respect, open and close.
Okay.
That will be infradig the president. That makes him presidential. Yes, I know that the most disadvantageous peace is better than a just war. That is what Mahatma Gandhi said. But peace cannot be forced. Negotiation, when you say we want to resolve, as those of us who are arbitrators, when we look at parties and read their psychology, when a man is not going to obey an agreement, I know, as a lawyer, the moment I see is dragging this, then one day, because, okay, no problem, well, I want to sign. He's not convinced. That is what happened in the case of Sefu Bara. The question I've asked in the first agreement they did, nobody knew he traveled to Abuja to meet President Tinubu. It was later we found out that there was an agreement, 10-point agenda, that the state was almost burning down. He signed it. When people were saying it's not, he now came and said, I'm the one that signed it. But he did not tell us why he now reneged on it. Then he left the state to start boiling solidarity visit here and there. Then while we were trying to, do that, this man woke up one morning during Pa E.K. Clark's burial and said that please, he's tired of all these things, that even as he's here, his spirit has left the house. I don't know if people are following the event. My spirit has left the government house. And I said that he's going to discuss with Simplify. What is the Simplify movement today? He was the one that disbanded it. I said, from this moment, I don't want anybody to go and tell the minister, this is what I said here. That please, he's going to disband Simplify. And all those his supporters, they should please, if they love him, they should just, drop the hatchet. Or bury the hatchet and follow his instructions. They did that. Before you knew, local government things came and all this abracadabra. He submitted. After submission, local government, whatever they were commissioned, he even went around with Wike, moving up and down. Before you know what was going on again, we didn't know they went for any other signing of an agreement again. We only came out to see that when they started having issues again, it was Wike that said there was an agreement to. Many of us didn't know there's a second agreement or a third agreement. It was Wike that came and said there are people that hate Wike and said, why does he want to do agreement? The same narrative It's a Abraham Lincoln that if you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again and expect a different result, then you are foolish. It's the narrative of Wike wants to deeper inside the treasury. That is what has been bandied for about 2-3 years. That you now went to sign the second line. You didn't even take anybody along in this last one he signed. When Wike started saying there's an agreement, that is when you now begin to say, the people backing like dog and whatever. Now, the president, except he does not know what he's doing, if he goes back again, the question Tinubu should ask this man is, first, second time, when we sign here, you go back and so I'm not interested in whatever you want to do. I cannot be here. You can go and sign any agreement, but don't involve me. Because you have people disrespected me. My name is being brought to the picture every time people sign this agreement. So that I don't get hated. And people should be very careful. I keep saying this. Why he should be careful politically in Rivers State is that he was working a very thin line. If he supports Sefubara, is best to him. If he supports Wike, which I believe he should do, in my own opinion, to gather and get Rivers State, because politics is interest. To get Rivers State for yourself. You shouldn't forget, people Dalit in Wadu that is talking. Calling the APC. He has forgotten that we gave Tinubu about 1.something million votes in Rivers. Labour Party, we were posting home before Wike came in. So you are talking about APC now, talking about governor you have now. In the governorship, it defeated your candidate. Where was Toye Cole? Did I see them even at the Supreme Court following the APC then? They are saying we shouldn't disturb Sefubara. Did they win the election? If not because of the fact that our constitution does not have equivalent of section 68, where if you defect, you lose your seat. Do you think Sefubara will be there? You are not going to talk a product of another person that came. That is hypocrisy. It's sad. So, Tinubu, please, I say advice. Hook up to Wike. If you like, you go against him. Your political fortunes in Lagos, you are not sure. In Kano, you are not sure. If you lose that state again, out of mismanagement and not taking the rest and FCT, you are in problem.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, very well. Thank you very. I wish we have more time to discuss this, but yes, but we are out of time. Thank you so much, Chief Jackson. Pleasure. Thank you. Connect.